Now, one thing we all can agree upon in today's HTM industry, there's always a constant lesson to learn. So let's get into the 29 lessons I've learned in my 29 years in the HTM industry. The first lesson, humility. Now, this is a strong lesson I learned early in my career because when I finished school back in 1993, there was no biomed jobs like today. So I had to get me a job working in surgery, operating a laparoscopic equipment for cases and stocking the OR while volunteering at the local biomed shop until something came about. Now imagine you went to school to learn how to fix equipment and you cleaning it. So that was a challenge, but I had to stomach it, use some humility, humble myself, and I had a wife, so I had to get a job. So it panned out perfect for me, and I was able to get into the industry. But one thing it taught me that is nothing wrong with being confident, nothing wrong with believing in what you do, but you have to possess a sense of humility in this industry. And I live by humility because if you don't have it, you're not going to make it too far, in my opinion. The next one, have a good support system. Now, your support system to me has to be three things. You need a good coach, a good mentor, and a good cheerleader. Now, that cheerleader, that'll be the person that motivates you. That coach, he'll be that person that will guide you through tough situations to where you can come out successful. That mentor, if he's a good mentor, he'll keep it real with you. He'll tell you your good things, and he will definitely tell you your faults. If you have those three people, then you will have a great opportunity to be successful in the HTM industry. And along with having a good support system, you have to be a support system to someone also. Can't be just you getting, you receiving, but you have to also support someone also. And at some point in our career, if we have this support system, then we will realize that the people that are supporting you, it's just that, supporting you. So don't shy away from individuals who want to give support, and also make sure you're giving support. Number three, this one here is stop thinking I'm the victim. I mean, we've all probably heard of people saying that, why I can't get a promotion? Why they don't want to send me to training? I don't have enough education. Why nobody believes in me? Once we stop making ourselves the victim, then we can look at what we need to do to grow. Instead of thinking you're the victim, take all that situation that you have going on and use it as motivation, as energy. And if we can continue to do that, then the circumstances that we are in and fighting through, it will allow us an opportunity to grow. So don't be the victim. Don't look at yourself as a victim if things are not going the way you think they should be. Giving unconditionally. Now, if someone on a job, someone on a job is not treating you the way that you treat them, continue to be a giver. It can be you giving of your time, knowledge, or just being that ear for them. Continue to give. See, a lot of people believe that they may have nothing to give. That means you have very limited view of yourself. What you're holding back from. Just take an opportunity, and if you see someone in need, be a giver. I mean, it's very easy to give. And my thinking is what you hold back from life and giving, you're holding back from yourself. Because I use that as in my HTM career. The more I put into the HTM career, the more HTM industry gives back to me. And I can attest to that just by looking around this room. I see a lot of people in here that I met coming to shows. Me coming to these shows took me putting something into this industry. And by me coming here, I'm meeting great friends who I see everywhere and we communicate more. So that's what you get back from it. So always be a giver, because if our industry as a whole understood the power of giving unconditionally, we wouldn't have to worry about having team issues in the biomed shop, team issues with your region. We don't have to worry about staffing issues. We don't have to worry about career growth. Giving without expectations is a necessity. It will benefit your department, it will benefit your client, and it will benefit your organization. Failure is a blessing. Now, failure can define us or it can teach us. Let me share this story with you. You may have heard this example. You have an ant, and the ant is on the ground, and he sees the sugar. You know, he's going toward the sugar, but there's a huge rock in his way. So he turns around, goes around. But from our perspective, looking down at this ant, it's a little pebble. So we see it as a pebble, but the ant see it as a huge rock. So he goes in, he's going in circles, and you look at this ant and say, man, this ant's a failure. He's never gonna get to that sugar. But him going back and forward, he's taking his own path to the sugar. Now, let's look at us in our HTM career. We may see ourselves trying to get to a BMA 2, BMA 3, and it's just not working out. So we go on this road, that don't work. We go into this way, that don't work. We may be thinking we're a failure, but you're not a failure. Just like that ant is eventually going to get to that sugar because he's going to get there on his own path. Same way with us. You know, you may see an engineer for another company gets promoted within 6 years. It may take you 15. And the journey, everyone has their own journey, and everyone takes their own path. And just like that ant eventually going to get to that sugar, you as an HTM professional, you're going to get to that sugar. Just keep at doing what you have to do and look at those failures as opportunity for you to reevaluate yourself and come to the way that you get there. And just know that when you get there, you got there on your own path. And if I guarantee you, we asked about 10 people in this room right now where you were 10 years ago and where you are today, we all gonna have a different path. And some may think they had some failures, but it wasn't failure because once you get to that goal, you see the blessing. So it's very important that we look at our failures as an opportunity for us to grow and understand that when we get past that failure, it's going to be on our time. It's not going to be on Jules' time. It's not going to be on Nathan's time. It's going to be on our time. So let's look at failure as a blessing and not as always just negativity. What are you doing in the HTM industry today is very important. People like to say, well, back in the old days, things were so much better. Now, we may think back in the old days was the good old days, but right now, to me, in the HTM industry, today is the greatest days. I mean, if you look at this industry today, it's centuries of advanced over just 10 years ago. And that's the great part about this industry, but there is a need for people, and I wish, well, Jules probably can attest, you need BMA 1s, BMA 2s, BMA 3s, ISCs 1, IS2, ISC 3s, managers. You need all levels. So that tells you that this industry that we're in, there's a great opportunity. So that's why I asked, what are you doing in the industry today is very important. And we need to make sure that we continue to do what we're doing important for that next generation that's coming up. And we have to make them aware of how great this industry is, because eventually we're going to be out of it and we want to bring in those new ones so they can see. So that's what's important of what we're doing today in this industry. You must make yourself the best you can be. Excuse me while I wipe it. We can't hope someone else is going to make you better. They may assist, but you must be the one. Just know it's not selfish to put yourself first when you take time for yourself. You make everything else around you better. I push myself to work harder than any manager I come about, in my opinion. Now, I may not be the most educated, I may not have the most money, or I may not be viewed that way by everyone. But in my mind, that's how I push myself to be the best that I can be. And I'll share, if we took a minute and everyone was to share their list of what they're doing to make themselves better, we all probably would say, wow, that's a good idea. That's a good idea. But we have to internally make ourselves better if we want to be the best person we can be. And I always think about this too. In order for you to make yourself better, you have to surround yourself with people that's trying to do the same thing. You can't be with someone who wants to shortcut PMs. Or you can't be with someone who wants to clock out early every day, but does nothing, sleep, go find a place in a hospital. Those are the people you don't want to be around because, like I said, iron sharpens iron. So if you want to make yourself the best you can be, you have to associate with people that have the exact same mindset. We must be open to learn from others. Now, what are you learning from others in the HTM industry? Now, we may go through our HTM careers thinking we have the answers, thinking that we're on the right path, thinking we're making the right choices. Actually, we are making bad choices if that's our mindset. Now, I have worked and learned in this industry from people intern level all the way up to vice president. You can learn from anybody, females, males, young and old. Now, whether we have been in the industry for 30 years or 2 years, we must be open to learn from others. Yesterday's HTM industry is not today's HTM industry. Today's HTM industry is not going to be tomorrow's HTM industry. So let's think out the box and try to learn from coworkers, a lecturer at MD Expo, or social media. There's a lot of opportunity on social media to learn, especially on LinkedIn, where you can pick up ideas from technicians. And TechNation has a magazine. They have Professional of the Month, Biomed Shop of the Month. What I do is I read those articles, and if I can steal one idea, I do, and add it to my repertoire. And I do that with the Biomed Shop. So that's an idea where you're continuing to learn from others. Forgiveness. This here's a tough one. Forgiveness means different things to different people. Generally involves a decision to let go of resentment and thoughts of revenge. Forgiveness is a tricky concept, though. In my career, I've been wronged by a number of individuals. Notice I said individuals, meaning more than one. Could I have held resentment and treated them the same way? Absolutely. But I can't be that way because if you hold on to resentment, then you will never be happy. You will never be in a position to get past that. Plus, I'm not perfect. I've been forgiven by a number of people myself. So it would be real hypocritical of me to say I can't forgive this person when people have forgiven me for the wrong I've done. So in this industry, we have to be forgiving and just take into mindset that this person may be going through something and didn't even know they wronged you. So if we practice forgiveness, this will make it easier for you to move forward in your career also. Number 10 here, keep a positive mindset. I mean, we've all heard talks about mindset. I mean, we probably can talk to 8 people and they can give me 8 different ways of keeping a positive mindset. But the most important part of keeping a positive mindset is doing it in a way to where you're benefiting others. We're back to that giving again. Because personally and professionally, you have to have a positive mindset. It's easy to start thinking negatively. That's how our brains are designed. You could think negative without even trying. But to do things positive, it takes effort. So to keep our minds focused on positive thinking, it requires us doing daily maintenance on it. It's like we do maintenance on our medical equipment. We have to do daily maintenance on our mindset. And I have learned that having a positive mindset means that you are optimistic about the things you're around. You expect that good things will happen to you. You should expect that. You shouldn't think it may. You should expect it to happen to you. And in this HTM industry, that is essential. Good mindset is a necessity. I'm more than sure if you all have managers, they've told you that. You have to have a good mindset in this industry. So that's one of the number one things we need to be focused on. Be appreciative or show gratitude. Thank you. Thank you in advance. That's how I end my emails. That's how you need to be. You need to be thankful for what's going on in your future. Be thankful what's going on today. Be thankful you in this industry. Because if you think about it, a lot of people do not know about this industry. So we're doing something that's special. It's life-saving. So we should be very thankful and have gratitude that this is something that we're doing. Thank you to MD Expo for putting on this opportunity for us to all come together and learn from each other. Experiences we are growing and gaining from coming here. Thank you for the people in my life. Thank you for those I've learned from. We have to show appreciation and gratitude to be successful in this industry. And that's one of the most important lessons I've learned. No one is perfect. Now I have to admit to a lot of people, I may seem perfect. Okay, that's a joke. But I'm not. Promise you I'm not. Imperfection action shows people are just that, human. We all human. So we're going to show imperfect attributes, attitudes. It's going to happen. You will not do everything perfect. The most imperfect thing you may do on the job, if corrected, will help you to do a better job. Remember this, there are no perfect people in this world, so it's impossible to be perfect in anything. Don't ever stop learning, whether it's on the job or whether it's personal. I love photography. I love music. I'm a DJ. And recently I just started me a podcast. And I'm the greatest at them. Probably not. But I'm always trying to learn something about them. And that's what we have to do. We can't stop learning. It don't have to always be just what we're doing in the HTM industry. You need to have you some breakaway hobbies, something that you can leave that. Some may do hunting, some may play golf. I mean, but find your habit, find your, not habit, but find your hobby, something that you can just dismiss this and come back to it fresh Monday. And that's my three things. That's what I love to do. So if you get married and you're doing it in New Orleans, call me. I could be your DJ and your photographer. Be honest with yourself. If you're not doing a great thing on your job, but you're doing your best, be honest and accept it. I can personally tell you, I was on a job, I was doing my best, working late hours, weekends, and it never seemed like I was doing enough. I was told, maybe this job is not a good fit. You're overwhelmed. You know what? They was right. I said, you're right. So I was honest enough with myself to admit it, but I came out of that situation a better father, a better husband, a better son, and also a better manager because of that. So being honest with yourself, it is the best gift you can give yourself in this HTM industry. Don't be afraid to ask for help. This can apply to young technicians and old technicians. Everyone reaches their limitations in this industry if you're in it long enough. If it's having an impact on your work life, you have to raise your hand and ask for help. Asking for help is allowing others to share the information and resources, and this in turn shows people that you are willing to take in that experience and knowledge from those people you reached out to get help from. And asking for help also allows the possibility of fresh ideas and perhaps a new perspective for you on things. So it's nothing wrong with raising your hand when you need help. The end goal does matter. Now, we have an end goal and a means goal. Very often, the two types of goals get mixed up. An end goal should be something that brings you fulfillment. That means goals that are steps you need to take to get to your end goal. For example, I'm a new BMed 1. Your end goal is you want to become an image engineer in 5 years. So what you do, you set small means goal. Okay, first year, I'm gonna work on a variety of medical equipment. The second year, I'm gonna try to get me some training and OEM training. The third year, I may begin shadowing imaging engineers so I can learn from them to get to where I want to be. And once you get to that goal, you set you another end goal. See, end goals don't stop. You just keep setting them. You reach one end goal, set another end goal. You reach that end goal, set another end goal. And I take this mindset. I play sports. I mean, if you play sports, then you know without a goal, you can't really compete properly. You're not going to practice, running plays. You can't win. The ones that win Super Bowls, if you check out their whole season, those guys had goals set in the preseason, in the training camp. So you have to set goals to get to that end goal. And if you don't set these end goals in your HTM career, it won't work properly for you because you're going to probably be all over the place. End goals will be the successful tool you can use to make sure that you're getting to where you want to be. Stop overthinking. Some of you may have heard this story, but I'm gonna share it with you anyway. It's a musician, Houdini, and he's a famous musician that brags about he can get out of any prison cell. So they put him in this prison cell, close the door. He takes off his jacket, takes off his belt. Now, secretly inside of his belt, he had a hidden 10-inch strip of steel, very flexible and tough. He began to work on it. He playing with the lock. After 30 minutes, he began to sweat, like me. Okay, 2 hours pass. He's bathing in sweat. He's at the door and he leans on it out of exhaustion. And the door opens. Was the door ever locked? Well, actually, it was. It was locked in his mind, firmly locked in his mind. See, the mind is a powerful thing. How many doors in the HTM industry you've tried to get into and you thought they were locked? How many times have you been stuck in a mental prison of overthinking? Your mind is the most powerful force you will ever face. My mind used to tell me, you can't do this. You don't have enough skill. You don't have enough training. You don't have enough education. Tell your mind straight up. Thank you for your opinion, but I have big plans, and my overthinking is not going to be my roadblock anymore. Like Houdini showed us, the only locked doors that exist is right where? In our minds. The doors of reality are wide open, guys. We just have to walk through them. Be an inspiration. Our story matters. I've shared my stories with everyone. I have met within HTM or not. My story about my career was published in TechNation. It was published in Amy. I tell it to family members. If you can inspire one person from your story, then you are an awe-inspiring person. Everybody needs to be inspired. Work harder, work hard rather, play harder. Don't just work all the time. I mentioned it previously, but you have to work hard on your vacations also. If it requires you traveling, experiencing life, that will recharge your batteries to come back to work more energetic and productive. That was me on an island somewhere, just like I told my wife, take my picture. I just had my hands open, enjoying it. Because we don't have that type of water down in South Louisiana. So, I have to go somewhere far to get the blue water. So you have to treat yourself to a vacation. You got to play, because if you don't, then you're missing it. Overcome anxiety. I used to have anxiety about repairing high-end equipment when I was a new HTM professional. I would never show it. Like I said before, I'm a huge Saints fan, sports fan. See, Saints just comes out fluent because I am a huge Saints fan too. But I'm a huge sports fan. I played sports and would always do risky things when I was younger. Now, in my mind, I thought that anxiety is for the weak-minded, but it's the opposite. It takes real mental strength to power through anxiety. The HTM industry is a great, great community where most people or trying to help anyone else as much as he or she can. If you're afraid you can't learn how to repair or fix a piece of equipment, take some time, take some action. If you're struggling with a repair, just leave it, walk away for a minute, go clear your mind, come back to it, or reach out for help. But in order for you to rid yourself of anxiety, it takes action. So take some type of action to rid yourself of that anxiety. That's the only way you're going to be able to overcome it. Happiness comes from you. No one else can make you happy in this HTM industry. You need to take charge of your own professional and personal development. Your job will assist, but you must take control. You must tell your manager what your goals are. You must be the one that put your future in your hands. And I guarantee you, if you have a great manager, he's going to pull you along. But you shouldn't just wait for people to say, you know what, Bryant's been doing a good job. I think I'm going to give him an opportunity. You let them know. First day on the job, you can. This is my goals. They're going to ask you. So I would tell them before they ask me. That way it will be crystal. And if we do that, then we will always be happy. Learn from this young generation. I guess I read somewhere they call this reverse mentorship, learning from the young. See, we are living in the age of technology, and guess what? These young kids been playing with this stuff since birth. The VR readers. I mean, I thought I was going home and telling my son something new that's coming out in the industry. He have a VR reader at the house already playing games with it. I didn't even know what a VR reader was, but we have to get into that. If we want to be in this industry 10 years from now, we're gonna have to learn all this new technology. We're gonna have to get sophisticated. So the young people are gonna be the ones to teach us. They've been having cell phones in their hands since they was 2 years old. Some people still can't work a cell phone. So, so, so we have to learn from our younger generation. And I think that will be the key to us. Treat others how you want to be treated. I pride myself on treating any BMed one I come across with an enormous sense of gratitude. I know how it is to start in a profession and feel inadequate. So I make sure to make them feel welcomed and that I'm glad you are part of the team. I do it on LinkedIn. Somebody will tell me, just got my first BMed one. I just graduated. I'll send them a LinkedIn invite. Congratulations, man. Welcome to the family. And I can share a personal experience. Some of you who may not know or may know my son's in this industry. And when I posted Proud Dad Moments, a ton of people, congratulations. Welcome to the family. If you need anything, reach out to me. Welcome, congratulations. And to me, that helps a person to see that, man, they're really excited about me joining them. And so we can treat people that way, because if we was coming into the industry, we would have loved for someone to say welcome and tell me they appreciate what we're doing and where we're trying to go with ourselves. So that's something we should always want to do. Treat others how you want to be treated. People will lie. Some people will lie to keep their image up, to protect someone else's feelings, to avoid conflict. But the most popular reason is probably to impress people and boost their reputation. We all heard the lies in our industry. I single-handedly turned around my current biomed account. If not for me, this hospital would be closed. I'm the reason that guy is a VP of my company. Just be patient. You're going to get that raise. I promise. I have a lot of training in store for you. I can go on, and I'm more than sure y'all can tell me a few also. They're just lies about work. We throw in the outside lies. Oh man, we could be in here for hours talking about it. So just keep in mind, people will lie. You can't change people. People can only change themselves. You can't. I think we all know this quote: you can change people, but you can change the people around you. Time is our most important asset. Tick tock, tick tock. What is ticking? It's not a clock, it's your HTM career. If you don't take control of your time in your HTM career, you will forfeit everything you want to do in this industry. The way you spend your time tells everyone exactly who you are. We use a lot of tools in our day-to-day work in the HTM industry. Time is the most important and powerful tool that we have because this is something that we cannot and ever, never, impossible to get back. Get out of your own way. This is your time. Do you, be you, for you. For that to happen, you must use your time wisely. If we use our time correctly, it contains the ingredients to be successful, happy, we will grow in this industry and prosper. Everything we want. But if time is neglected, it leaves us with very little. You are exactly where you're supposed to be. Now, our actions leads us to where we are. If we are not able to progress in the HTM industry, look at that person in the mirror. Look at that person in the mirror and say, we can't become a team lead, manager, imaging engineer. Why not? Don't blame your manager. If you're not happy with you're not happy with your career in the HTM industry, just do something about it. If you need motivation, don't wait for someone to scream. Don't wait for no one to cough loud, scream, or yell at you to get you motivated. You know, take it upon yourself. If you need motivation, just do what you have to do. Look at yourself in the mirror in the morning. If you don't smile when you see yourself in the morning after you comb your hair and wash your face, blame it on yourself. If you're not happy with what you see in the mirror, it's up to you. Remind yourself why you're doing what you are doing. This struggle here is just temporary, but it will make you stronger and better. Using the motivation to get where you want to be, your hardships can be the reason you make it, or it can be the story you tell why you didn't make it. Because with any sincere effort being put in, you can be content and know you are exactly where you supposed to be. When you unleash your potential or unpack your gifts that you are just providing with in your life when you were born, because we all born with potential, we all born with God-given gifts. Once we start utilizing those gifts, then you will do the things that people think are impossible. Then you can confidently say, you are exactly where you're supposed to be. Change is inevitable. A change is going to come. It's a matter how you react to it. It will destroy you or it will make you. I have been part of a company acquisition where the company comes in and purchases the company you work for. I have changed companies and I have changed positions within the company. Now, how you react to those changes will make you or break you. Always prepare yourself mentally for change because it's not if a change will happen, but when. Everyone has a story. Like I mentioned earlier, I was privileged to share my story in TechNation and in Amy Array. Now, if you read the stories, then you would know my biggest accomplishment of my career was mentioned in those both articles. That was my son deciding to take up a career in the HTM industry. See, everyone has a story. So some may feel that they don't have one to tell, but we all have a story to tell. Your story does not belong to you. Someone may be in a corner listening to your story. Someone online may be listening to your story. Our story belongs less to us, but more to people who we can inspire. Some people may say, I'm not a good public speaker or a good storyteller. Understand your story is meant to bless each of us, to remind us of who we are, who we can become, or what we need to overcome. I have shared my story with people, and I've had some people tell me I helped them make it through one day. That was great. So that's worth it. How will you know if your story will be received? If one person reads it, it was a successful story. Or if 100. So who will be the next storyteller? Now, it's hard to believe I've been in this industry for 29 years. Next month would be 30 years. I hope the lessons I discussed, maybe one can help you guys. That would make this whole presentation worth it. I will end this quote, end this with this lecture with one quote from a guy named Frank Sonnenberg. He said, "Lessons in life will be repeated until they are learned." I thank each of you for your time because I know time is something you can't take back. And if you took your time to come sit here, I'm appreciative of you. And I thank you.